Hello and welcome to News Drive here on Skyline News in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I'm Muyi Agmofwebe. The All Progressives Congress (APC) is beginning a review of its performance in Osun State governorship election after Governor Ademola Adeleke secured another term in office. The party has rejected the outcome, announcing plans to audit the results, while party officials continue to assess what went wrong during the polls. Adeleke, who contested under the Accord Party, polled 511,067 votes to defeat APC's candidate Bola Oyebamiji, who recorded 444,815 votes. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke on his re-election, describing the outcome as an indication that democracy continues to flourish in Nigeria. The president commended the people of the state for participating in the electoral process, urging political actors to respect democratic institutions. Tinubu's reaction comes amid growing national interest in the outcome of the election and its possible implications for the 2027 general election. In the meantime, the outcome of Osun governorship election has renewed calls among opposition politicians for greater unity ahead of the 2027 general election. Political actors are examining the lessons from the election, particularly the importance of voter mobilization, alliances, and strong grassroots structures. Some opposition figures believe a united platform could provide a stronger challenge to the ruling APC next year. 31 state governments have reportedly spent about 252.26 billion naira on security during the first 6 months of the year. The expenditure comes as states continue to battle kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, and other forms of violent crimes. Despite the huge spending, security challenges remain a major concern in several parts of the country, prompting calls for better coordination between federal and state authorities. On a side note, at least 20 people have reportedly been killed in a fresh attack in Plateau State. The incident, which reportedly occurred between Monday night and the early hours of today, has left residents in fear, raising fresh concerns over security in vulnerable communities. Security agencies say they are investigating the circumstances surrounding the attack, working to identify those responsible. Let's turn to Rivers State now, where the police command says it has recovered 47 firearms and arrested 18 suspects during recent operations against criminal activities. The command also recovered 12 stolen vehicles and hundreds of rounds of ammunition in different operations across the state. Police authorities say the arrests and recoveries are part of efforts to dismantle criminal networks and prevent violent attacks. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has destroyed more than 329,000 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs valued at about 301 billion naira in Lagos. The operation forms part of the agency's campaign against drug trafficking, abuse, and the distribution of illegal substances. The agency says tackling the illicit drug trade is also important to Nigeria's wider security efforts because of its links to organized crime. More stories will come your way after this break. Please do stay with us. This is New Drive here on Skyline. We now continue with the news. Nigeria's headline inflation rate has declined to 15.43% in July 2026, down from 15.91% recorded in June. The latest figure represents another moderation in overall price pressures and continues the recent downward trend in inflation. However, the decline has not necessarily translated into cheaper goods for many households, as food prices remain a major concern for consumers. Business and economists said they will still watch the trend closely as policymakers continue efforts to stabilize the economy and reduce the cost of living burden. The naira has continued to trade relatively steadily against the United States dollar as authorities maintain efforts to improve liquidity in the foreign exchange market. The currency's performance remains important to businesses because movements in the exchange rate affect import costs, production expenses, and consumer prices. Investors are also closely monitoring developments in the forex markets as the central bank continues its monetary policy measures. The continued decline in inflation is increasing interest in Nigeria's money market instruments, particularly among investors seeking positive real returns. Analysts say treasury bills and other fixed income securities are becoming more attractive as inflation moderates. The developments could encourage investors to move more funds into financial market assets as they seek to protect their savings from the effects of rising prices. However, investors are also being advised to consider interest rates, exchange rate movements, and other economic risks before making investment decisions. Still talking business, despite the decline in headline inflation, rising food prices remain a major concern for Nigerian households. Food accounts for a significant part of household expenditure, meaning that persistent increases continue to affect consumers' purchasing power. Economists say the government needs to sustain efforts to improve agricultural production, storage, transportation, as well as distribution. And now to the foreign scene. U.S. President Donald Trump has called on Israel to stop its strikes on Gaza as American diplomatic efforts continue to revive a stalled peace initiative. The appeal comes as negotiations focus on major issues, including Hamas disarmament and the conditions for an Israeli military withdrawal. Authorities say Israel have continued to insist that Hamas must be disarmed while negotiations remain complicated by disagreements over the next phase of the conflict. International pressure is mounting for a deal that could end the fighting and address the worsening humanitarian situation in Gaza. Away from the Middle East, at least 10 people have reportedly been killed in Russian missile strikes in Ukraine's Kharkiv region, while 8 others were injured. The attack comes as the Russian-Ukraine war continues despite ongoing diplomatic efforts aimed at finding a negotiated settlement. Ukrainian authorities continue to accuse Russia of targeting civilian and critical infrastructure, while Moscow maintains its justification for military operations. A ship traveling through the Strait of Hormuz has reportedly been hit by a projectile, raising fresh concerns over the safety of international shipping in the region. This strategically important waterway carries a significant portion of global oil supplies, making any security disruption a major concern for energy markets. Efforts to advance a new Gaza peace agreement have ended without a major breakthrough, with key disagreements between the parties still unresolved. Negotiators have been discussing Hamas disarmament, Israeli military withdrawal, and the reconstruction of Gaza. United States officials continue diplomatic efforts aimed at finding common ground as well as ending the prolonged conflict. However, disarmaments over security arrangements and the timing of an Israeli withdrawal remain major obstacles to reaching a final agreement. We'll take another break now. We'll return shortly with the rest of this broadcast. Please don't go away. Let's go on a lighter note now. Nearly 3 decades after the fatal shooting of hip-hop icon Tupac Shakur, the long-awaited murder trial has officially begun in Las Vegas in the United States. A jury has been impaneled to hear the case against 63-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, a former gang leader charged with orchestrating the 1996 drive-by shooting. Prosecutors are positioning Davis as the mastermind and short caller behind the attack. Davis has pleaded not guilty to murder with a deadly weapon. If convicted, he faces life in prison as the proceedings unfold over the coming weeks. The Prime Video's hit action drama Reacher has returned to the top of global streaming bars following the release of a season 4. Alan Ritchson reprises his role as the drifting former military police officer Jack Reacher. With this season adapting the child's fan-favorite novel Gone Tomorrow, critics and fans alike are lauding the show's high-octane sequences and intense mystery, cementing Reacher as one of the most successful streaming franchises currently on air. And we'll take a look at sports quickly for you. The Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has asked the technical crew of the Super Falcons, led by Justin Madugu, to step down following the team's disappointing campaign. The decision comes amid widespread criticism over the team's failure to secure qualification for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. The NFF is now expected to review the technical structure of the team as Nigeria seeks to rebuild ahead of future competitions. The development has also renewed calls for broader reforms in the preparation and administration of Nigeria national teams. In a different development, Super Eagles striker Taiwo Awoniyi has completed a permanent move from Nottingham Forest to newly promoted Premier League side Coventry City. The transfer is reportedly worth £9 million and gives the Nigerian forward another opportunity to establish himself as England's top flight. Awoniyi is expected to play an important role as Coventry prepare for the challenges of Premier League football. Super Falcons captain Rasheedat Ajibade has apologized to Nigerian football fans following the team's failure to qualify for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. Ajibade acknowledged their disappointment surrounding the campaign, saying the players understand the frustration of supporters. The setback has triggered renewed debates about the state of women's football and the management of the national team. Nigerian Premier Football League clubs are intensifying preparations ahead of the 2026-2027 season. Teams are strengthening their squads through recruitment and pre-season activities as they prepare for the start of another competitive campaign. Coaches are also using pre-season matches to assess new players and fine-tune their tactics before the league begins. They say nothing beats early preparations, and that's where we'll leave it on News Drive here on Skyline News. I'm Muyi Agumofwebe. Thank you for watching. Our broadcast continues.